Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Dan Fates here, trying to maybe break down, put into context, explain a little bit more of some of my feelings toward Josh Allen's play against the Dolphins on Sunday. Before we get into the video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like our channel and like our content. I don't want to feel like I'm pressuring anybody here. But there has been some comments coming in saying that we're ripping on Josh or trashing Josh, and that's just not the case. One, I would also like to say that it's okay to criticize Josh, especially when he's critical of his play, saying afterwards that he just didn't play well and that he's got to play better and he wants some plays that he has back. I don't think by any means he played like garbage like he has earlier in the year. Like, let's be real. I know I did my report card. I gave him a B, and everybody's like, some people were saying he deserved better than that. Other people were saying that was too generous. He still threw for 350 yards and had 3 touchdowns. That being said, there were some reasons to be concerned, and I think that's okay to express. And what I kept coming back to is this thought of needing to take the cheese. And I have done some videos on here before, and I've written some stuff for Buffalo Plus for the fact of, I always go back to Trent Dilfer. Take whatever you want for his NFL career. He was one of the first people that talked about quarterbacks are either surgeons or butchers, and that butchers and surgeons, there's 2 types of quarterbacks, and the fact that butchers can win you some games, but surgeons win you championships. That a surgeon is so precise, so knowledgeable at his craft, takes a scalpel and makes little incisions and saves your life, while a butcher takes a machete, has all the flash and all the sizzle, and at the end of it, you get a pastrami sandwich. And honestly, for Josh's first 2 years, he was kind of the butcher in 2018 and 2019. And then we've seen him elevate his play to being surgical, and that's a good thing. And so when I watched that game against the Dolphins, I was on the field, but I've gone back and watched some of it again, and I know people have broken down the all-22 on it as my cat makes an appearance. What's up, Winston? I have issues with the sense of one of the things this year, like, it's not even the turnovers, because that's kind of who Josh is. I know there's comparisons to Favre and things like that. He's got a little bit of that in him, but he had learned how to tone down the hero ball a little bit. And I know I did a video earlier this year where I was critical of Ken Dorsey's play calling and that he needed to give Josh more easy freebies. And I still believe that. But while I will be very hard and have been very hard on Ken Dorsey and how much I'm in my support of Brian Daboll, once the ball is snapped, whatever the play call is, it's on Josh to make the correct read. It's how Dorsey and McDermott want Josh to run less. Well, once the ball is snapped, it's on him. So I know I've rambled here in the beginning, but I thought Josh was more of a butcher on Sunday than a surgeon. He went for all the flashy splash sizzle plays, and it ended up working, and that's fine. But some of those plays also gave it back. I know we talked about on this channel that I wanted them to play with a conservative approach. That didn't mean just play your C game. It meant just be smarter. And even though some of the interception was a deep pass, you just didn't need to take it. The strip sack, a lot of these things that were just concerning. So the thing I talk about is Trent Dilfer says that great quarterbacks don't get bored taking the 4 and 5 yard completions, and that the butchers, they're always trying to be the hero, always looking to make the big play. And I thought that's what Josh was doing on Sunday. Whether that was warranted, whether that's just him trying to do a little bit too much, Josh was 23 of 39. That's 59%. You're saying, well, that's not that bad. You're right. But for the last 2 years, exactly, Josh has had a completion percentage of 63%. So it's 4% lower, but Josh has been below his season total the last 5 games. The last 5 games, he's all been under 63%. And completion percentage is a decision-making stat. It's making the right decision, and you can complete passes. So, yes, there were some drops on Sunday. I can think about the Khalil one, the deep pass to Khalil that was dropped. I can also think about the Knox second touchdown that was called back because he didn't catch that. I would also argue that some of his completions, like the catch to Knox in the end zone for his real touchdown, the first one, and the play to Shakir, were both gutsy, a little bit flashy plays. It's an unreal catch by Knox. It's an unreal catch by Khalil. So I think some of that balances itself out when people say, well, give Josh a break. You know, he had some drops. Yeah, he also had some catches that probably we wouldn't have said, wow, Khalil, you got to make that catch as he's spinning, jumping, and diving backwards. So, and then it goes to this point of, and we talked about it after the game with our post-game blog with Jenna and Mike, there needs to be a little bit more, especially in the postseason, to not get bored with the short completions. And that brings me to the point of what Leslie Frazier had to say this week. He was asked what he thought and what he is most impressed about by Joe Burrow. And I thought his answer was very telling.
Yeah, man, you know, when you watch his development, his ability to, yes, he can definitely throw the football down the field and he has the receivers to make that happen. But his willingness to check the football down when things aren't there down the field, that's pretty impressive, because so often guys are more concerned about their stats, you know, getting the big plays and getting that alley hoop touchdown. But he's willing to, if you take something away, to check it down and keep the sticks moving, which makes it hard on the defense, because those completions is not what we want. You know, we want incompletions. We want to get great negative plays, and but he's willing to take a 4 or 5 yard gain and not always just try to get the explosive.
Yeah, he's impressed by the fact that he can check it down and continue to move the sticks, because that is what frustrates defenses. When he said that, I thought directly of Josh. And I go back to 2020 when Josh really, I thought, emerged as a top-tier quarterback. That season, he had a completion percentage of 69%. So the last 2 years, he's been down from that, but 69% is just absurd. But he learned how to take the check down. He learned that, remember that the Houston playoff game in 2019 where it was like he had to throw into double coverage to the fullback down the field, and he wasn't taking the cheese. And Devin Singletary and James Cook, neither of them had a catch against the Dolphins on Sunday. And I know there have been comments saying, well, Dan, do you know the Dolphins were blitzing a lot and playing cover zero? Yeah, but there's a big difference between taking your shot with a one-on-one matchup like Gabe Davis or Stephon Diggs 50 yards down the field, and then also taking the completion one-on-one 5 yards down the field, or one-on-none, because here's a play of the deep pass to Gabe Davis where nobody's covering the running back out of the backfield. Like, if you take this check down, it keeps the drive going. It probably goes for 15 yards. It's a boring completion. It's okay to play boring football, and it's okay to take the cheese. You don't always need to get the fancy cheese, the Gruyere, the Gouda. Like, just take what's in front of you. Take the American cheese. Take the plain mozzarella. Take the 4 yard completions and continue to move. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, they've all made a living out of doing that. Tom Brady, tough to talk about that today after his performance last night as I record this on Tuesday. So that's where my concern is, and I think that's where my criticism comes from, with the fact of when you're taking all of those deep shots, I'm all for taking it. I know I went into that Miami game because it was Skylar Thompson saying, hey, be conservative. But 99.9% of the time, I want to push the ball downfield, but I want to be smart about it, because throwing the ball deep for the sake of throwing the ball deep doesn't really work. Yeah, you can take chances sometimes, and I'm all for that, but don't always be looking for the home run. It can't. And we said after the game, it always felt like it was a strikeout or a home run for Josh on Sunday. And to get to the Super Bowl and to get these things, yes, you will have to make those plays, and those plays will come naturally to Josh. He is just that special of a quarterback. But it's okay to have 2 or 3 boring plays in a row when you check it down and gain 5, 6, 7 yards by throwing it only 1 yard to a wide open guy. It's that sense of, to me, it's okay to be boring. It's okay to take the cheese, and it's okay to be a little critical of Josh. And there's a little bit of the sense of hero ball. I know that the offense was struggling at times in the middle of that game, but I just thought there were too many shots that weren't necessary. And it got to that sense of me thinking, man, just play a little bit smarter, and it's okay to be boring. So that's where my criticism comes from. It's not the fact that I think Josh played poorly. I think that he played a little recklessly and got bored and didn't want to take the stuff. Like Leslie Frazier read, he wanted the alley-oop touchdown every time. The great quarterbacks can kill you with 1,000 paper cuts. Josh has the best right hook to knock out teams possibly in the league. But sometimes that uppercut and that knockout punch isn't there. So it's got to be a couple of body shots. And when you're going up against Joe Burrow, these 3-and-outs will kill you. And when you're going up against Patrick Mahomes, 3-and-outs will kill you. So it's the sense of continuing to move the ball and do drives, because that's what Joe Burrow does, even though he has 10 times better wide receivers. It's the understanding of that is where my concern is, and that's where my criticism is. So take it for what it is. I thought Josh played a little bit more like a butcher than a surgeon. It still ended up working out. I still believe that Josh has developed into a surgeon over these last few years. I don't think that that's going away anytime soon. I think Ken Dorsey can draw up a couple more safer plays or give him a little bit better reads, but that's my reason. Josh needs to take the cheese a little more, the underneath routes, and not try and be Superman on every single play, because it's really, really hard to do that. So that's my little spiel. I just wanted, because I know people are saying we trash Josh and these things, and it's not trashing him. It's okay to criticize him when he needs to be criticized. So we'll have plenty more coverage. I'm recording on Tuesday. We're having we'll be up there for Media Day on Wednesday, and then obviously our Buffalo Plus live show on Thursday. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the merch store, buffaloplusstore.com. Really appreciate all the continued support. Keep the comments coming in on what you thought about Josh's performance. As look, the stakes get higher, and Josh will make those superhuman plays, but he doesn't need to try and do it on every play. Take the cheese. The great quarterbacks are never bored with a 4-yard completion. That's my point. All right. Thanks so much for watching on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. We'll catch you next time.